everyone, welcome to Monica's channel. My name is Martina and I have also been a student abroad, just like Monica, and we're thinking that today we were gonna make a collab video together. And because of that, I'm gonna ask you a question that is related to studying abroad, and that is for you, Monica. What are the 10 craziest things that happened to you while you were studying abroad?
Hello everyone, and thank you so much Martina for your question. I think it's a really fun question. She's going to have a video at the same time as this one with my question, the question I made to her. Make sure to go there and check that out because I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. As most of you already know, I studied in Norway, in Trondheim, as an exchange student for architecture. And to start with these crazy things that happened to me, one has to be the student life that was in Moholt. Moholt was the place where I lived, so it's this really big student housing village and there were always big parties. So I have to say that one of the craziest things that happened to me, it was this parties that happened in the whole building. So they would say, okay, the building number 2, it will have a whole building party, and so every apartment on that building would have a party happening inside. It was full of people and loud music, and sometimes each apartment had a different type of party with a different theme. So it was completely crazy. Another crazy thing that happened was also a party, and it was a summer party in the middle of the winter, basically. So these guys in this one apartment decided to transform their apartment into like a beach. So they turned on the heat to like the maximum, so it was really warm inside. They put sand on the floor, they printed pictures of like Bora Bora beaches or something like that, and put it on the walls, and everyone was like half naked pretending they were in the beach with like bikinis and shorts, and it was basically just a bunch of sweaty guys dancing. And so I didn't stay long as well, but it was fun and very crazy. Another crazy thing that happened to me was when the Northern Lights appeared in Trondheim. So we had this app on our phone that would warn us when the Northern Lights were happening. And it was from 1 to 10, if I'm not mistaken. 10 being like the strongest Northern Lights you could get. And normally it was like 3 or 4 and you barely see anything. But there was this one time where we were all together for dinner and everyone's phone started to ring and saying that it was like a 9 in the Northern Lights. And everyone in the building where we lived started to knock people's door and saying like, come on, go outside, because of the Northern Lights were like going all crazy green and red and moving. Everyone we knew were outside. It was really awesome. Another thing that happened also related to where I lived while I studied there was basically all the apartments looked the same, so you really needed to know what floor was your apartment, because you could enter the wrong apartment without noticing. Most of the times people had their doors unlocked, so it didn't help as well. And that happened to me once. I entered one of the apartments and I thought it was my apartment. It wasn't. So I sat on the table and then I started looking around and I realized it wasn't our stuff. And I was in the wrong apartment, so I left really quickly without anyone noticing. So this one time it happened to us that things started to go missing from our fridge. This one time I made a whole cake for a birthday party and I saved it on the fridge, and then after a couple of hours I went to pick it up and it had a slice missing of the cake, like the birthday cake. Someone took a slice of the birthday cake. I was so pissed, and everyone from the apartment said it wasn't them. So what we think is like people randomly enter the apartments and steal stuff from the fridge. Another crazy thing, well, at least I think it's crazy because it's very different from what I was used to in Portugal when I was studying in my country. Sometimes in classes, teachers would ask us how we felt, how we were doing. And I really thought that was like, you should speak about your project, or if you have any doubts about anything regarding like school. But no, because they would ask, so how are you? What are you feeling? And then all the Norwegians start to talk about themselves and how hard life is, and they haven't slept so much because this or that. So it's more like a therapy thing. And I thought that was very crazy, very awkward. I'm not sure if I think it's good or not, but yeah. Then I also had the incident of my sofa. So where I lived in our apartment, we had this really big sofa, really cool sofa that we all loved. And then one day, this tiny little bug started to appear on the house, and it normally goes into stuff like, for example, the sofa, so it would be very difficult to clean the sofa or to get rid of the bugs with the sofa there. So they said we had to throw the sofa away. But we lived in a 6th floor with only stairs. We didn't have elevator. And what they did, basically, we were all shocked. 3 really like muscled men picked up the sofa, opened our living room window, and threw the sofa out of the window from the 6th floor. And then this tiny little tractor came on the park, so it destroyed the grass, picked the sofa and took like a huge sofa, and we were like, what just happened? Just imagine the people that lived in the floors below, like just casually eating at their dinner table and then looking out of the window, and a huge red sofa just falls. Another thing that I thought it was really fun but also a little bit crazy was that we had this massive water fight. It was supposed to be like a small thing between a small group of friends, but then it transformed into like a huge water fight, and we had water balloons. Then it transformed into just like pouring whole buckets of water on top of each other. And when we were like walking on the streets, people from their window started to like throw water, and we were all wet, hiding behind trees and inside the apartments, like in the corridors. It was really fun, but really crazy. Another crazy thing, and I think this is one of like the top crazy things I did while I was an exchange student, was we decided, okay, we are going to make the ice bucket challenge, but instead of dropping a massive bucket of ice in our heads, we decided that we were going to almost skinny dip on a frozen river in the winter in Trondheim, in Norway. That was really cold. So we basically just got all together in our bikinis in the middle of the winter, counted till 3, and ran inside the freezing cold water of the river in Trondheim. Yeah, that was a crazy experience. Everyone was like, ah! The 9th crazy thing that happened to me was going out of my apartment door into the street with my boyfriend, and we found this huge snowman. I have no idea how they could reach like the top ball to put it there, because it was like 4 gigantic snowballs, and we actually have a picture next to it so you can see how big it is. And last but not least, I'm going to be a little cheesy and say that one of the craziest things that happened to me while studying abroad was meeting my boyfriend. I met the love of my life while I was a exchange student, and I think that's crazy, especially because we didn't know each other before. I went completely alone, and he is Portuguese. He is also an architect, but we weren't on the same class, we didn't live in the same building, so it was crazy. And those were my 10 craziest things. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up. Tell me down below which were your crazy things if you studied abroad, or just like while studying, what crazy things happened to you. And do not forget to check out Martina's channel and subscribe to her, because she has amazing videos. I know you guys are very interested in videos about Norway, and Martina is Norwegian, so make sure to check her out. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!